Hey guys, Jay here. Welcome to another convention review. Today I'm going to be talking about Sakuracon 2023. Also, there's going to be a companion video to this that you can get to in the top corner here or in the description, and that is my con haul, where you can see all of the autographs and stuff that I bought from the convention. So, to start with the review, this wasn't that bad. There was some good and some bad, like always, but so like I always do, I'm not going to be giving it a grade of any kind. With a convention. I'll just be giving you the here's what happened type thing, and then you guys can see for yourself if you want to go or not. So the start of it is going to be the start of your convention experience in the first place, and that's the badges. We have the same badges as last year. They're this, don't worry about this, I'll get into that in a moment. They are this plasticky paper thing. I have tape on mine for my name, whatever. But they're a plastic type of paper that's waterproof. I don't know what it's called, but we tried last year. One of our friends dipped it in water and it's waterproof. So yeah, that way rain doesn't ruin it, because they don't give you a holder anymore. They actually don't give you any way to hold this other than a lanyard, which most cosplayers can't wear. Like, I have all these spiky wigs. I can't put a lanyard on. I don't know how they expect me to wear it. So I brought a clip from a little clip thing that's on with those badge holders. I brought that, but luckily one of my friends actually was handing out badge holders. So because of last year, so they brought a whole bunch just in case anybody needed them, and posted that they were gonna have them and to ask them. So I did, and I got one. You don't need to see that. That's not the con. It has nothing to do with anything really, other than it's just a badge holder. And then the adult wristband thing, this thing here, you notice it's on the badge, and it doesn't come off. So there's a story behind that. So last year, Atlas had one that was around his wrist. I don't remember which wrist. It doesn't really matter. And after hours, it was like 11 or so at night, or midnight or something like that on Thursday, it got snagged on something and tightened really tight to where it was hurting him. And staff doesn't want you taking these off yourself. They don't want you cutting them off. If you cut it off and go get a new one, they will yell at you for cutting it off. Well, how else are we supposed to do it? We're just supposed to lose circulation in our arm all night and then go to you guys? That's not how that works. So we had to break them. So our other friend Sabrina used a lockpick, because she worked at a locksmith place, so she had lockpick tools, and broke the inside of it just enough so that you could slide it up and down, but it would still stay in place and still look like it was correctly on you. That way you could take them off. And so mine just so happened to be big enough to slide off. I didn't use it because I didn't go to any 18 plus panels, which is what they're for. This is literally only to get you into 18 plus things, nothing else. There's no other reason for this. It basically serves as the new stamp. They used to give us a stamp on our wrist, and you would show that to get in. I don't know why that's so difficult anymore, or why people can't opt to do that, because how hard is that? They've been doing it for the rest of the time that they've been around, and it's worked just fine. Sure, like they can rub off or something and you just get a new one, or people have transferred them before, but that's easy to remedy. Get a non-symmetrical stamp and use that. That way, if they have the stamp on them, if they transfer it to somebody else, it'll be reversed. Make it have wards or something. I don't know. Have it be get a custom Sakuracon stamp. That ain't hard. You can get that on probably anywhere. Like you can probably get that on any site that custom makes things. Vistaprint might be able to do that, because they do everything else. Just get one Sakuracon stamp, or a couple, or however many people are at the table, and constantly use that stamp. If it says Sakuracon backwards, you know that it's been transferred and they can't get in. Easy. That's an easy fix. But I understand that there's people who have things fully on them, and like maybe a full suit where they got into it, so there's no wrist opening. That makes sense. They can't get that through there. But they also can't get the costume on if they have one of these on. So what's the point? If the problem was you can't get to their wrist, they can't get the costume on with this. there's a problem with both ways. So these are completely useless. They could easily just, because they let me do this, this proves my point that they could just go back to putting letters on your badge. They used to have an A for adult, M for minor, and C for child. If they're cool with me they were cool with me doing this. Registration was fine with me doing this. Nobody said anything. I even went into 2 18+ panels where we had to show these, and I showed them that on my badge. Didn't say anything. Didn't look at me weird. Looked at me like it was normal to have it there. And it was like, oh, I see the thing. That's good enough. Bye. You know, how is that any different than putting a thing on here? If you're not going to even worry about having them on your wrist, like, I don't know. But the backstory also includes, right before we put them on, our roommates. We had 2 of our roommates in front of us in line because we went with them, and they put theirs. They looped it around instead of, I undid the whole thing, put it through here, and then redid it. But they just looped them around like a little loop knot thing on their lanyard, which they were not really okay with. Like, they didn't ask us if they can do that. They just did it, and now we can't do anything about it. You could have just told them to take it off of there because it was just looped. Like, it was just, they took the thing, put it around the loop, and tightened it around the inner loop there. All you have to do is take that back out. That's easy. That's a really, really simple way to get that off of there. But yeah. So they said that if I did this, they were totally fine with it. So it defeats the purpose of having them. Now it's an eyesore that's all dangling all over the place, and it's annoying. And it makes it so that this thing doesn't stay in the badge holder very well. So I guess if you go to Sakuracon, just bring one of the little clips. If they allow you to do this, bring a little clip thing. Don't put it in a thing, because it doesn't stay in very well. So the little clip will just hold the pieces together. Bam, whatever. Or bring anything to clip it with. I had to use a safety pin last year because we didn't know that they were doing this. They had no warnings that there was no holders for the badges. So I had to find a safety pin and put it together that way. And just safety pin it to everything. But yeah, so these just need to go. Also, these are not supposed to be worn for an entire weekend. They're not supposed to be worn overnight. I don't think they understand that this is a very, very big risk for people. What happens if you tighten it in your sleep and you cut off circulation in your arm? You could probably have to get your arm amputated because of losing so much circulation because of these, and they don't care. So, I don't know. But the worst part is, so one of my friends told me, this is completely 100% staff's fault, and they wanted me to make sure if I talk about this, which I'm going to, that I make sure people understand that this is 100% staff's fault. So her friend, there's another friend that I have, her friend was running the Yowie one of the Yowie panels, or all of them, I don't remember. But they're 18 plus, obviously. They caught a minor, at least one, I don't know if they caught more, who didn't have one of these at all. Nowhere on them. It wasn't on their badge, wasn't on their wrist, wasn't anywhere. So they were just able to get in without one. Meaning, they're not even checking them. They're just letting people in. So why do we even have them if they're not checking them? So yeah, that's pretty bad. So again, that's 100% staff's fault because they were neglecting doing their only job. The people who were at the doors checking wristbands, that is their literal only job, is to check for a wristband, and they weren't doing it. So I don't know. Those are such a waste. They're a waste of money and a waste of time and a waste of a security, not a security risk, but a risk to people's, an injury risk. There we go. It's an injury risk, and they do not care. So they've actively said that they do not care, or that they're not going to change it for any reason. That people getting their arm amputated basically isn't a good reason to get rid of it. So they haven't said that outright, but they basically implied it. However, there's only minor other things that are problematic. So I don't know how long this other building has been there, but there's another building. So if you've seen any vlogs or any videos of Sakuracon where people are walking up to it, you know there's one building that has a sky bridge that goes to a second building, and that's counted as a single building. They call it the arch building because the arch, the sky bridge is an arch basically. The outside of it looks like an arch, but it's flat on the inside. But the point is it connects the two buildings to make them basically one building. So they call it all the arch building. Now, the regular part of that building where all the escalators are, that like it's escalator, floor 1, escalator, floor 2, escalator, floor 3, like that, just like that in a row like that. That's the main building where everything normally takes place. And then the other side of the building, which is where the Cheesecake Factory is and stuff, the first floor was recently had been changed to Artist Alley, which is good because they separated them so they have more room now. So Artist Alley has more space, and I think the first and second floor were both Artist Alley if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. But the third floor is the registration, and then the fourth floor is the dealer's hall, right? So then that's at the Sky Bridge when you cross it and it says exhibit hall really big on the thing. That's the fourth floor of that part of the building, of that second part of the building. Well, they have another building called the Summit Building that's a block and a half away or so. So you have to walk. It's very confusing, but there's a video out there. If I can find it, I'll link it. But there's a video of someone showing how long it takes to get from Artist Alley to, or from Exhibit Hall to Artist Alley. So this other building, the Summit Building, that's a block and a half away, in the rain, is where the Exhibit Hall was, where the booths for autographs were if you didn't want to wait in their 2-hour lines or whatever. And that's where a lot of big panels were. So like the two 18+ panels we went to were in that building. So we had to walk. So we got to Sheraton next door specifically because it was next door to the Arch Building. We just walk across the street and we're there. But no, we had to walk a block and a half. And in fact, that makes it 2 blocks now because we're another half block away basically. So because we're across the street. So we got to go 2 whole blocks or 2.5 or whatever blocks to get to the main point of the whole convention, is the big panels in the exhibitors hall, which also has autographs. The regular autographs, like when you go to their free sessions or whatever, those are probably in the same spot they normally are, up in the 4th floor of the regular building, but we don't want to wait there. Those are annoying. They hurt really bad to stand for that long, so we'd rather stand in like the 30-minute lines or less usually. A lot of them had nobody in line for their tables in the dealer's hall, so we just did that instead. It was way quicker, and I'd just rather pay for it rather than hurt myself trying to stand for hours without rest, basically, because you just nowhere to sit. The problem here, as you might have noticed, I said rain. It rained Saturday and Sunday the entire time. There was basically no time where there was no rain. Friday was fine, but Saturday and Sunday were just complete rain, like downpour rain. It was bad. The biggest problem with that is our armor for our costumes on Saturday got water damaged on them. So they have water spots now. So we had to, like, that was just from the Sheraton to the main Arch Building, like the regular 1st to the 4th floor type building with the escalators. That one, they got water damaged, and that was crossing the street. Can you imagine going 2.5 or a block and a half or 2 in the pouring down rain? That's not going to happen. I'm not going to ruin my costume doing that. Also, umbrella, right? Yeah, not happening. My sword is 5 feet tall. It's not happening. In order to hold my sword upside down, I would have to be way the hell up here or something just to keep it from getting rained on. And even then, it's going to get rained on because an umbrella doesn't cover 100% of everywhere. So it was just going to get rained on either way and get destroyed. So I was going to destroy something. So it's just not happening. So we had to miss basically the entire second half that we were going to spend at the. So we did we were going to do some time in the Artist Alley and then another set of time in the Exhibitors Hall. We couldn't even do the Exhibitors Hall because we couldn't get there without destruction. So we don't know what to do now. If we do costumes like that again, we have no way to get there. We have to now we have to make sure that we have our costumes in a way to go in the rain. Like, I'm not going to be able to do Genesis ever again, basically, because every convention wants to be in the rain. I don't know why. Komoricon and Sakuracon are both in the rainiest weather possible. I don't know why they can't change that, or why they refuse to change it, but it makes it really like impossible now to even want to go to a convention anymore, because they all just don't care about us. So like they won't even figure out a way to like they don't even need the other building. The other building literally has no purpose. It's only panels and the exhibit hall. You know what else had the panels and exhibit hall? The regular building, where it was already fine. They didn't need we don't even use the other half of the arch building anymore. There are doors on the first floor of that building said it was closed. So we couldn't even go in that building, even if we wanted to. They literally only used one floor of that building. And that was the fourth floor, which is I think the top. Why? There's 3 more floors that are now empty that you're just refusing to use, and instead you're putting it in a place where all of us are going to get our costumes damaged? Where's the logic here? I don't see it at all. So that's really bad, and I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. But I know for sure Sakuracon hates their attendees. So I'm sure I'm going to get people in the comments here that are Sakuracon staff that are going to complain just like crazy because I'm talking bad about the convention that they staff or whatever. But I don't care. Screw you. If that's you, screw you. I do not care. You don't care about us, so why should I care about you? And don't come into my comment section saying you do care about us, because you clearly don't. I have more than enough proof. So just shut up. Anyway, other than that, everything else was fine. The attendees were all nice. No one was really shoving. I don't think we had anybody like shove us around or anything, like trying to get out of the way. Atlas almost ran into somebody, so there was that, but that's because he's an idiot and was looking at his phone. I told him to stop doing that. So, that wasn't a big deal. He said sorry. They were like, oh, that's fine, whatever. He didn't actually run into him. He just almost was like, hey, dude, person, and not, people just sometimes don't watch for like what's behind them or something. So people are turning around with props and almost hitting us. But that's just what happens. We just are careful about our surroundings so that, well, I guess sort of, but I'm careful enough about my surroundings that I can see that there's someone with a big prop and they might not be paying as much attention, so I don't go near them. So it's not a big deal to me. I didn't really notice it, so it's not really a big problem. The staff was all pretty good. There wasn't really any problems. There was like one staff who I don't think he knew what he was doing. He was in the 4th floor area where the ball happens. The concert was just getting over with. Like, it was just about to end, and they were about to get people to line up for the ball, for the masquerade ball. And he was trying to turn people away for not being dressed for the ball. People who weren't going to the ball. Like, he tried to turn us away and was like, there's food right there. We need food. We're not going to the ball. We don't care. We're trying to go over here and get some food, please. So I was like, I just want that, please. Just let me do that. That's the only food in this whole building. Because for some reason, the coffee stand, which I don't go to anyway, and the subway upstairs had curtains over them, and they were just completely closed. Don't know why. So we couldn't get food there. So we're like, can we please just go to the food stand that's right here? Don't turn us away because we're not dressed for the ball that we aren't even attending. But other than that, staff was fine. We didn't have any problems with any of them. A lot of them were nice, actually. So when I went to I was giving out things to the voice actors, like charms and stuff. I just do that. Erica Lindbeck's line was actually closed, and they let me in the line just to do that real quick. So that was nice of them. They didn't have to let me in because her line was closed. So they didn't have to let me in. So they did anyway just to let me give her stuff. And then Griffin Burns, I almost missed him. He was literally behind the curtain trying to leave. And I was like, oh man, I bought some stuff I was going to give him. I wasn't going to get an autograph or anything. I already got my autographs. I was just I bought some stuff that I give to the voice actors I meet, and I wanted to give them to him as gifts. And so they went back there and they were like, hey, good news. He's still here, so he's going to come out and let you do that. So they let me do that. So that was really cool. So they were helpful. So that was good. But, so yeah, the only problems basically are the buildings being separate, which we have to plan for now. They didn't tell us until literally like 3 weeks or so before the convention. They didn't tell us that there was going to be 2 buildings. They just neglected that completely. So other than that, and whatever else I talked about, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, the wristbands. Other than that, but these aren't as much of a problem if they just let me do this. I don't really care. I usually don't go to 18 plus panels anyway, so I even told them I might not go, so I could probably just throw this out and not even use it. So, but they're like, oh, if you do that, then you can't get it again. So, or you'd have to get back in line or whatever. And I didn't want to do that, so just in case, because I know Atlas goes to them, I put it on my badge. So, but because they let me do that, that's better. So it's whatever. Like, it's just an annoyance. And I wish they would tell people that they're allowed to do this now. That'd be nice, but whatever. I'm just going to do this every year if they keep doing it. Anyway, nothing else really. So I think that's going to be it. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later.